All right, YouTube, welcome back. Here we are with another reaction. This is an update on this viral case. We have Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff T.K. Waters, you guys. I can't stand this guy. His arrogance precedes him. I'm going to tell you why. I have issues with him. This isn't the first time I've reacted to some content out of his department. His officers are overzealous. Let's talk about what he has to say. I'm going to react to him and give you my thoughts in reference to his statements involving the officer who punched William McNeil in the face during the traffic stop and how he tries to justify it. He should have been a damn attorney because it sounds good, but it looks horrible. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and dive into it. What does he actually say? We're picking up at the 3-minute mark.
After this traffic stop on February 19, 2025, McNeil was arrested for resisting a police officer without violence, driving on a suspended driver's license, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. On February 20, 2025, McNeil pled guilty to and was adjudicated guilty of resisting a police officer without violence and driving on a suspended driver's license. Those pleas of guilty were accepted by a local judge who found them to have been factual basis and to have been voluntarily made by McNeil.
But what the sheriff is failing to realize that this isn't about the mistakes of the citizen. The citizen is going to go to jail, right? We already know that. Okay, he had a suspended license. He had marijuana in his possession. He was going to jail anyways. What is the issue surrounding this case? Was the unlawful use of force, excessive force that was used against McNeil. McNeil is in the wrong. But just because McNeil is wrong and he wasn't cooperating, okay, he wasn't listening to lawful commands, and he was passively resisting, which he was, it still doesn't give officers the right to use excessive force. So that's really the moral of this entire story. And the sheriff missed that while he's trying to cover for his officer. And that's what this is all about. So let's get back into it.
Immediately upon becoming aware of this footage, JSO began a criminal and administrative investigations into the incident. Had McNeil filed a complaint, JSO would have started this investigation at that time. But we were not aware of this allegation or of improper use of force before this weekend, as this is agency's pattern of practice in any circumstances of use of force.
Okay, what did the sheriff just admit? What he admitted was that his deputy never stated that he struck, okay, McNeil in the face prior to getting him out the car. And he probably never stated that he struck him again when he got him out the car, you guys. He struck him while he's in the car, and it looked like he gave him one of them oh-you-kins, right? Them little uppercuts, okay? While he's out the car, he hit him clean in the face while his hands were behind him, okay? He was not attacking. He wasn't an active threat to anybody. And so therefore, that level of force is considered excessive, okay? He's sitting in the car looking straight ahead, okay? And here's the other issue. Once the glass was broken, and I said this in the initial video, you have a pause, okay? He breaks the glass, Bowman breaks the glass shatters, okay, after I think 3 attempts. He looks at McNeil in the face and he yells another command, and then he struck him in the face. You guys, you can't do that, all right? You can't do that. What does that say to me? It says that the officer lost his cool. That the officer is acting out of this superiority complex. For whatever reason, he feels offended that this individual is not complying. How dare you not comply with what I told you to do? And out of that frustration, he punched him in the face. That's an assault. Clearly, it's intentional. Now, it's one thing if the officer is striking the glass, and while he's striking the glass, his hand goes through the glass at the same time, and he unintentionally struck him in the face. You guys, that's justified. We can justify that all day. But that's not what we see here.
The relevant body-worn camera footage was reviewed by multiple levels of supervision. However, as you'll see in short order, the body-worn camera footage does not capture Officer Bauer's response to resistance when McNeil was seated in the driver's seat. As I explained, although the State Attorney's Office has deemed it not criminal, the response to resistance is now subject of a pending administrative review to determine if Bauer's conduct violated JSO policy. The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop. This is extremely important. There are not options. If you disagree, take care of it someplace else, but not on the side of the road. No one enjoys being the subject of a traffic stop. And there are times in which citizens dispute circumstances of their stops. But the law is clear. A person must comply with an officer's commands, even if that person disagrees with that officer's reasons for the stop. Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed, serrated knife on the driver's side floorboard. Now I'll play relevant portions of the body-worn camera of the three officers, Officer Bowers, the stopping and arresting officer, Officer Miller, the second responding officer who...
So the sheriff brings up the knife that was on the floorboard, okay? You guys, listen, encountering people on traffic stops is extremely dangerous. I told you before how I got injured, okay, and ended up having to retire. There's always a threat from a traffic stop, okay? I was dragged down the interstate, hanging out the window, car surfing, okay? So my situation is I understand. So I'm not saying that the officers should not use proper tactics. I'm not saying that the officers were wrong for, executing things the way they did it. That's not what I'm saying. The question comes down to, what is the issue we're arguing? We're arguing about whether or not the force was appropriate, okay? McNeil is wrong, you guys. And I know a lot of people want to make this about race and everything. Listen, if he would have handed his ID, if he would have cooperated and got out the car, we don't know what would have happened. Nothing probably would have happened, okay? So again, the patience of an officer, the arrogance of the officer, the ego of the officer, when you factor all those things in, you're going to get different circumstances every single time. Everybody is not as patient, okay? And so I may not agree with how the officer carried out his duties, right? May not agree with it. But the question is, did the officer do anything that was unlawful? Right? That's the real question. Did the citizen violate any laws? Those are the real questions, And so I think when we lose sight of those questions and we start worrying about what the situation made us feel like, it defeats the purpose, right? So we're going to skip ahead because we've already seen the video. So this is from Miller's point of view. And Miller was very patient with him. Miller asked him the same thing. He said, listen, I'll give you the information you need after you get out the car and we can work through it. He still refused. You guys, you just can't do that. I'm just being honest. You can't do that. All right. So, and when you play back this video, you guys, you listen to it, you hear the officers breathing and panting heavy. They sound like they're about to literally pass out and die. All right. A lot of these officers are out of shape. They're they weren't running after anybody. Okay. This little tussle right here, just to try to get them in custody, handcuffs. And it's like 4 police officers. These officers are just winded. They're out of breath. They're done, So we have a big issue with our law enforcement in this country that needs to be overhauled, right? That is a fact. There's no way around that. But let's play it here. They kind of show the knife in the car. So this is the knife that was there. You guys, it's potentially dangerous, right? I mean, I get it again. But now the question comes to, did he reach? This is why officers are breaking the window, because they're like, I can't leave you in that car for too long. And this is why officers are asking to get out the car, okay, for the potential to be harmed by things that are inside the vehicle. And it's a safety issue. All right, so.
I know that he was charged with resisting arrest without violence.
Yep.
But there was, when I go back and look at the other video from the cell phone video,
yeah,
I can understand the officer punching the window out. But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
It's this idea that you just don't want to admit that this is wrong, right? It's as clear as the eye can see. You saw the video just like we all saw it, Sheriff. The officer's wrong, okay? He's wrong. And instead of, you could have just easily said, listen, by looking at the video, I don't agree with that strike to the face, but I know that we need to really kind of conduct a more thorough investigation so I can get all the facts for myself before we render a decision. But I don't like the way that looks either. I know that, and there are times officers have to use force, but I want to get all the facts as to understand why he may have felt justified to do that in that moment. And at this time, I don't have all the information. This video was just released, so I'm releasing all the evidence that we have for the public to let you guys know that we're transparent, okay? But I'm gonna get to the bottom of it because I didn't like that. And so I wanna talk to the officer and the investigators directly myself to see what the issue was behind that. And if it's not to my satisfaction, if it's not to our policy, then yeah, the officer can look at something criminal. He could possibly lose his job, or it might be counseling, suspension. But we need to look at the totality of everything before we make a decision. But yeah, I agree with you. It looks awful, but I'm gonna really get to the bottom of it because I don't like the way that looked either, and I want an answer as well. And I will have one for you guys. Boom. That's it. You cover all bases. You don't look biased. Okay, you're not out here playing, ring around the rosy. Okay, you're being honest with what you saw, and what you see here with the sheriff is he's trying to be smooth and he's trying to finesse, but we're not idiots, right? We're not idiots. We see clear as day that this is wrong, and there's no justification to punch a citizen in the face when they are not actively a threat to an officer. That's a very bad precedent to set, all right? So he got to miss me with that one.
I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight, and you see this,
right?
Okay, and then you see them pull him out, and then you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but they charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same videos you saw. So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
it's important, let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties. It's been dealt with in several different times. You don't resist when you're doing your lawful duties. You don't deserve to get violated, but you deserve to get what's necessary to get you under control and get you and take you into custody.
Hold on, what? What is he talking about? Is this your king? Is this your spokesperson, you guys? This is horrible, Sheriff. If you get what you deserve, and when you got it and you got it good, whatever happened to you, God bless. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? You get what you got what you deserved? What? What you're saying is you're giving this pass that officers are allowed to do anything because you weren't listening. An officer can knock you over the head with the gun. He can kick you down the stairs. Hey, because you weren't listening. You guys, it doesn't work like that, right? As officers, we're still obligated and held to a standard. And unfortunately, each department decides they want to enforce the standards differently, right? Every sheriff department feels like they're their own king of their own castle and that the laws are not necessarily subjected to them, okay? And what we have here is a sheriff who knows he's wrong. He knows this deputy is wrong. And he's saying, well, the citizen got what he got and it got what he deserved. And what happened, happened. And what do you want me to say about it? Right? That you're not supposed to resist arrest. You're not supposed to resist a lawful command. He's absolutely correct. But that does not justify officers in using unreasonable, excessive, and flat out unlawful force. Period. It doesn't matter. Right? There's still standards that we have to uphold ourselves to. And the sheriff is wrong. He's flat out wrong, And in him trying to explain it, he looks like an idiot, you guys. He looks like a complete imbecile. Listen, you guys, I had a coworker who punched the guy in the face. The guy was in handcuffs, okay? Now, to my coworker's defense, the guy was talking so much trash, okay? He was talking so much. Everybody can't handle that. Every officer cannot handle being insulted. All right. And he's talking and disrespecting them, all kind of stuff. And I see him getting angry. I'm like, man, just don't even pay no attention. That stuff doesn't bother me. All right. And my coworker said something to him, and the boy spit in his face. And I mean, it was dripping down. Man, my homeboy turned around and clap, knocked him clean out on the ground. Okay. Now we had to call the supervisor. Supervisor shows up. Guess who gets fired? My coworker does. Right? My coworker gets fired, even though we reported it. He hit a man while he's handcuffed. You can't do that, okay? But guess what? Being spat on is an assault. That's a form of assault. You know, there's some departments, you guys, who really hold their officers to a standard. They don't make exceptions. Every department is not created equal. I could never have done what this officer did and got away with it, period. All right? Some people say it's a black-white thing. Listen. I'm not even going to get into that. We can have that argument later. The reality is I've seen it happen on both sides. White on white, black on black, black on white, black and eight. Like, I've seen it happen. I've seen the mixture of things and people be held accountable. Again, so everything is not racial. But the reality is, in this case, McNeil was wrong all the way through, you guys. He was wrong. Suspended license. He had marijuana on him. However you feel about it is what it is. He wasn't supposed to do it. He was going to go to jail anyways. What's the problem? The officer had no business punching him in the face. Period. All right? Period. And the sheriff's a clown for trying to justify. Anyways, that's it. I'm not even going to go any more into that. Let me get your thoughts on that. We'll probably do a live stream and have you guys come up so y'all can express your thoughts on this case. This is wild. And he's gonna win his lawsuit. He's going to win the lawsuit. I mean, the brother is he's a rich man now, you know? So anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe, you guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Good night. God bless.